Was that a Nerf gun or?
Yeah,
Good. I don't know why it spooked me out so much. No.
trapped over here. Saying,
Property Ebonics. Oh my goodness, I'm still getting used to you with the hairdo.
really?
Yeah, and I may drop a prop suggestion later that pertains to hats. But yeah, while seeing, I saw you this weekend. First off, welcome to Proper Ebonics.
I'm
Welcome
in the
to Proper
building.
Ebonics. You thought you were listening to a different podcast. You're listening to Proper Ebonics. Saw you this weekend with the hat, and that's the look now. You're rocking hats. How does it feel to be back in the hat world?
I love the hat world, bro. Like I'm a hat. I'm not like a hat dude, but I got a lot of hats, and I like to be stylish. This is going to be the summer of the 5 panel hats for me. That's what it's going to be.
Whoa,
It's
the
going to
five
be
panel hats.
5 panel hats. It's like those, like the box looking with the flat brim. Like
Uh-huh.
how I had it. Like that's just like that style of hat. Yo, I got a couple of those, and we're going. It's a 5 panel summer, baby.
Oh man, that's I never did the five panel. I did fitteds in high school, and then I've been doing these. Well, I would say these. I mean, I've been wearing this particular hat for the last. Before I had the afro, I was wearing the hat, and now the afro's gone. Back on this hat, so whatever this is, I'm on it. It's
Is that one of the hats you get the turnpike stops? Is that what that is?
close
CPA on it.
enough. I was a it was a giant in Kutztown. So like they had like giant will sometimes have like random towns or the town that you're in and they'll sell the hats. I saw this for like $8. I was like, huh, all right. And about like 10 years later, still rocking out with it. Such a good hat. Loves hat.
That's the same kind of situation. Buying a hat from Giant, a grocery store, is the same as buying a hat from the Turnpike. You're going to get the town. Yeah, that's what that is.
It's like, well, they don't have sweatpants, so I'll get a hat here. I want to give it won't even be a prop suggestion sort of thing. This is something that I want to recommend for the people that hat wearers out there. A lot of times you get a hat, you get real comfortable with all that stuff. Sometimes it gets real fit to your head. And it's like, oh man, my hat, it feels real fit to my head. It feels comfy. You got to remember, always adjust your hat. Even if it feels like nice on the head, you got to make some adjustments to it. Otherwise, it may be too snug on the head, affecting the hairline.
Ooh, it really affects your hairline.
I don't know. I didn't scientifically check that out, but I imagine like if it's something's gripping your head like that and like blocking the sun from it,
For 8 hours
probably
a day.
you doing one of these, you snapping it back and all that stuff. You got one of these. So I like doing this. So I'm feeling real fresh and young. We popping this off.
Yeah. Hey kids, you see that meme? The hey kids. It's like an old dude. What's the
Steve
guy's name?
Buscemi. Steve
Yeah, yeah.
Buscemi.
I'm
Oh,
hip.
it's oh man.
That's
I
me
hear
right
you
now.
guys talking about the Rizz. I just learned about that. I just learned about the Rizz.
I
I
don't
was
know
like,
what the Rizz is.
you know what the Rizz is?
I
I
just
got to
laugh.
teach someone about the Rizz. It's like what people say when it's like you're spitting game. Like you talking to a honey Dijon and you spitting game. That's your Rizz. It's like, man, that person's got a lot of Rizz right there. Breaking that person off with some Rizz.
What white person taught you this?
Jack Harlow. No, it was I forgot which white individual taught me it, but I think it was just like from like I think it was just like Instagram. And then like I think I heard someone say it in real life too. I guess I'm putting it in real life. It may just be an internet thing and I'm putting it out there.
I'd never heard the term, and I feel like I'm a pretty hip guy. I'm in the know. I got kids that are in the know. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's a Caucasian thing. I don't think that's something that you didn't find anything out. They just created something that's not for you.
Maybe it's just a matter of you, Alan, having low resolution.
But,
Come on,
oh,
come on.
well, maybe I could have low resolution, but it's probably because the headaches I get from wearing my hats too tight. Because if you do wear your hats too tight, you can get a headache. That's another side effect.
Really?
Yeah, I do that. Like there's times I'm like, I feel like I got a headache coming on. I'm like, oh, I'm wearing a hat. Let me loosen this hat up a little bit.
That's a like they have like the how people would wear like different garments to like tighten their waist and all that stuff. Does that
Yeah.
apply for heads? Like if you're wearing like a tight hat, can you make your head smaller? That's a serious question.
Can you make your head smaller?
Make your head smaller. Can you form
What's
it to
the
be smaller?
Let that marinate in the universe. Kirk wants to know if you can make your actual cranium smaller.
I don't want to make my head smaller. That's not what I'm aiming for. But I'm saying though, like if you have something tightly wrapped around it, sort of thing, like if you walk around with like a rubber band around your head, that may affect the size of your head.
No, man. I mean, I know in China they used to do that with the women's feet. They used to make the women wear small shoes, but so they hit their feet wouldn't grow. But
Yeah.
I don't think that works for heads. I don't. I don't know.
I was about to say, because I can't explain the science as to why it wouldn't.
I don't know. Is bones there? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, the feet got bones. Producer Pat, if you could get on this real quick, if you could maybe do a Google search or get a hat, and then by the end of the show, tell us the size of your head. Maybe then we'll have some insight into this because that could be a scary thing. If people wearing hats and all that stuff and not realizing that their heads are getting a little bit smaller, that could be that's a real epidemic right there.
I'm about to say the same thing. I mean, forget about global warming. We need to worry about this. We got to focus on this. Small head sizes from wearing hats too often.
Yeah, man. Hats, headbands. LeBron, we're talking to you, man. I'm glad that we're back on the hat wave sort of thing, man. Like we're always talking about different sponsorships. I'm not going to say that Lids was looking at our stories earlier on, and I'm not going to say that I saw that check mark next to the New York Yankee hat on the stories for proper Ebonics. I'm not going to say that.
Never really happened. As Liz watching the story, are they interested in us?
I'm not going to say that.
Listen, man, we put it. Even if they didn't, you put it out in the universe. So, but I feel like they did. So, listen, I think it's a good time too because now we both are hat people again. So, I think this is it.
Is it too adorable? Is it too adorable? Like
What, like,
we're both out here looking handsome with hats on. Is that too adorable for the brand? Does one of us need to like not wear hats or like grow our hair out again?
gotta ugly it down? Is that what you're saying?
One
Or
of us.
just too cute?
Too cute. That was the original name for the podcast.
We seen you on Sunday. Sunday we did a show together in Reading. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
man. Back in the stomping grounds. That's where like we first met and all that stuff. Not too far from RCO.
Shout out to producer Pat for putting the thing together. You know what I mean? At the barbershop slash salon situation that was popping in there.
Yeah, man. It was cool. It was a cool lineup. They had like the tables all set up. It looked like a VIP section of Olive Garden a little bit. It's like got round tables like in a barbershop.
Just walking around with a cheese grater.
Yeah, Pat was on true producer duty that night. Yeah, man, it was solid.
Tell me when to stop.
I had to creep through. I wasn't on the flyer. I was like, I'm not even going to let them know that I'm coming, although they may have an idea that I'm probably going to come. I'm not going to let them know. I'm just going to creep through. Yeah, shout out to we got like Andy Malfrino on the mix, Seamus in the mix, Sonia in the mix. It was nice. It was definitely
Tyler was there as well.
Tyler, yeah, man, he rocked out. It was man. When I saw that lineup, I was like, I gotta come through. And I've been on a bit of a run this week in particular, gearing up for the show that I did on last Saturday and skip back. So I was like, oh, am I going to be like, what if like after the Saturday show, I was like, I don't know how, I'm pretty sure it's going to go well, but all of this stuff I'm doing this week is for this Saturday. How am I going to feel on Sunday? Am I going to be like doing victory laps? I didn't do a victory lap. Instead, I came back out on these streets, put it back out there, wild out.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you pulled up, man. It's always good seeing you, and I'm always happy to see comedians doing guest spots, showing up for guest spots, man.
Yeah, man.
I feel, it's a pet peeve of mine is comedians not showing up for guest spots. There should be a comedian asking for a guest spot at every single show.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that. And as somebody that produces shows, it's irritating when I get people messaging me instead of just showing up. Because it's like, bro, you just showed up on a guy, you get on. You can get on. You know what I mean? So
right. I agree. I think a lot of times depends. Like if you're like pulling up to a show that's like, if you live like 2 hours away, I get messaging. That's different. Yeah. But if it's like, if you're in the vicinity sort of thing, like you're nearby, yeah, just kind of pull up sort of thing. And at worst, two situations at worst, you get to just watch a cool show. There's that. It's a lot of times you show up and they already gave guest spots out and they're already kind of booked up for that. So you show up And at second, it's like you show up and then they keep you in mind for the next ones. So that's the thing too with that, with the idea of kind of pulling up. I like doing guest spots. It's kind of like low expectations, which not to say like work off low expectations, but it's like,
oh yeah, I got you. Yeah,
you kind of go up. It's like you kind of just do your thing. A lot of times there's maybe a little bit of room to like you try something new out if you want to play around with the crowd a bit. It's like that. It's like dessert of the show, depending on the guest spot.
Yeah.
Depending on what kind of dessert you like, sort of thing. It could be like, oh, okay, we didn't expect this. It's not going to be like a whole 20 minutes or something like that, but here's like a little pop in. It's nice.
Yeah. No, man, I tell you, I made my bones off of guest spots, bro. Like, it's a sacrifice. I know a lot of people don't, like you said, they don't want to take a 2-hour trip, but sometimes you got to sacrifice a 2-hour trip to get paid for it, a 2-hour trip 2 months from now. You know what I mean? Like, it's, yeah, it's frustrating. I tell you, I get frustrated when I don't see, when people message me that I know live close to the shows, like not booked that night. Like, I know you're not booked on a Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, yo, can I get a guest? And then you know what happens too? A lot of people, I don't want to get too far off the track, but a lot of people, they don't want to, they don't like guest spots because they want to be on the flyer.
Yeah,
so
that's a real thing.
I've had comedians, like I had bookers ask me like, yo, you can get a guest spot this week, or you can get a spot a month from now. And like, for me, I want a spot right now. Like, I don't care about my face being on the flyer. If I can get some money, you're talking about, you're going to pay me some money, that's different. But like, I feel like a lot of comedians just want to be on the flyer. Like, hey, look at me doing comedy, doing funny things, instead of like, really putting in work. You know what I mean?
That's my new flyer pose. I do get that a little bit of though, like, one, getting paid for a show, but like a lot of times with those flyers, they rotate around, especially like if it's a hot show. And then like if you're seen on that show or someone that's advertised on that show, I think a lot of times strategically, it could pay dividends to like be on a flyer or something. I don't think you should just be doing that where it's like turning down guest spot just to be on flyers and for the vanity of it. But I do see some of the validity of like, you don't think so? Like, so say it's like a hot show.
Zero. I feel you, but that's hustling backwards. Okay, because I'm gonna say how I feel. It's a hot show. I'm gonna go get a guest spot, rip it to get booked.
Okay.
I'm not giving up the flyer, but because they're gonna book me, I'm gonna do 5, and they're gonna want to see 10. You know what I mean? They're like, I want them back. So it's hustling backwards because I'm gonna go get a guest spot and that spot. Well, you're not getting the guest spot. You're not putting in the work because you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, I'm really doing it because I love this shit and I want to get better at it. So it's like, no, and nothing. I thought about this in and out. There's no reason to turn down a guest spot unless they're like, yo, I get you some money. Like, now this is like, I hold off for the month. I get that. But like, just to be like, oh, I get to be on a flyer. And like, you can be on a flyer.
I get that because there's a lot of truth to that too. Like, you go on a guest spot, you rip it, and it's like, then it's like, oh, you're welcome back anytime, something, or we want to put you on for another thing. That's very true. However, think of this situation. It's like, hey, you could come through. You could do a guest spot this Friday. It's going to be about 5 minutes. Or if you next month, actually, we're booking, and it would be yourself, Chris Tucker, Steve Harvey, Todd Barry, and Monique. So which one do you do? Do you do a guest spot where it's like you can do the guest spot, or they're presenting it where it's like, or you could be on the show where it's a pretty notable flyer and pretty notable names on it that your name will also be appearing on?
I'm definitely going to take the guest spot because Monique going to be mad because they're going to probably put me last and she's going to be mad like, no, I'm a headliner.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Yeah.
No, but like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, a situation like that, if you lay it out for me, like, yo, you can do this or this, and this is what the benefits of this is. I get that. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be money involved in it. I understand that, but people are literally turning down spots with other people they see at open mics. They're not turning down shows to be on with Steve Harvey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just saying, like, it's not like it's not the same. Like, if there was like a comedy club, like, yo, you can do this week or this week in a month, you get paid more, these people gonna be here. But no, you're just talking about another bar show. Yeah. So it's like, what are you doing? It's hustling backwards to me, that's all.
I'll say, as I haven't really booked a lot of shows. When I was doing Conversation Club, there's a comic that couldn't make it last minute, and there happened to be a comic in the crowd. And I was like, hey, comic, do you want to do this spot, essentially a guest spot, and they're very game to. And then that following week, they messaged me about being on the show, like being like advertised and like on the flyer and all that stuff. And I already kind of had everything mapped out of like what the next few shows were going to be, sort of thing. So it wasn't like I said no, but it was like I can't do that. I can't promise that right now. Yeah. And I don't think they were too pleased. Sometimes it'd be kind of dicey. But in my head, it was like, well, you were on the show already, sort of thing. I mean, maybe it's a little different conversation club because it's not like a stand-up show sort of thing. But yeah, like, there could be some ramifications for it.
Yeah, man. It's always a little bit of drama in the comedy world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I wanted to touch base with you on this, man. Bruce Pat, if you could play the comedy drama music. That's the scariest kind of music, man. Scariest kind of music. You show up to an open mic, you hear that music, it's like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm going to the grape room instead. But I'm curious, just in terms of we've been in the scenes for a while and all that stuff, and with comedy there tends to be a drama left and right. You wouldn't think the two would go hand in hand, but they do. The comedy and the drama. I'm curious how you handle this, and this is just also an interpersonal communication related matter. Someone comes to you with their issue with another comic, or issue with a particular room, particular booker, their name and names, and all that. They come to you with this. You may have a relationship with this venue person, booker, and you don't really have a problem with that. They never really ran into that. Yep. One, how often does that happen for you? And two, how do you think you navigate that sort of situation?
I wouldn't say it happens often, but I've had it happen. And I had one comedian, he really asked me, he named the booker and was like, how do you feel about this guy? And I was like comedy wise, like, what do you mean? Like, because I'm in this for comedy. Like, I'm not in this to like make friends. I'm cool with bookers, but I'm not like going to their kids' bar mitzvah or stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't care. I don't. So
although he said bar mitzvah, which is the implications of that one. That's
it's a Jewish booker, right?
Yes, that's what you're.
Yo, real quick, I said that on stage. I said, my name is Alan Massenburg. That sounds like the name of somebody that's happy Kyrie got traded. Oh man,
oh, goodness,
because Kyrie got traded from the. I'm sorry, but I just thought it was hilarious. But
seems humorous, but I don't get the sports reference fully. But I do get the Jewish reference.
Kyrie Irving was the guy that put up the clip of the
Amazon movie.
Yeah, and he got traded recently out of Brooklyn to Dallas.
Oh, all right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was like, sounds like I'm happy about Kyrie. Whatever. No, I don't really care about him. But what I say, so the drama, yeah, I don't. I'm grown. I'm 35, yo. I'm 35 now.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Happy related to me. But it's like I'm too grown. I'm too old to be playing this drama. Like, where I'm from, drama equal violence. Like, so I'm not like really like, I don't have I can't have drama with comedians or like booker. Like, it ain't. It's levels to this. That's not drama. That's just like petty, messy. Like, why? When a guy asked me about the booker, I told him, I was like, that booker books me, pays me. Hey, I don't know what I come for. He provides a venue. I provide a service. That's what we do. I don't. How can we have issues? Like, he say you available? I say yeah. I perform. He say thank you. I say thank you. That's it. Like, how can it be beef with a booker? Like, that means you into the drama.
Yeah, I was about to say, have you ever been on the side of it where it's like maybe you and I'm just asking out of curiosity, because this one I've actually not been in this situation where you don't necessarily, like, they come to you about like this booker and you've had a bad experience with the booker. Do you confine that bad experience with the person that's asking or inquiring, or do you kind of just let it be?
Depending on who's asking. Right. It's like 5 people who I talk to about some real stuff in this comedy game. And like anybody else, I have nope, the guy's good to me. I ain't got no problem. Nope. You know, like, I'll talk to you. I talk to Pat, but I'm not, a lot of these people out here. Why are you talking? I am the most unproblematic comedian, bro. I don't bother nobody. I'm not in no drama. So I feel like when you bring drama my way, it's intentional. And I don't like it. So I'll be like, Why are you bringing this to my energy? Why are you bringing this over here?
It's-
You felt has anybody ever brought you like you're having a great day and somebody just bring you some dark energy? You're like, wow, why are you bringing this over here? You know what I mean? Like,
Bro, don't get me started. Too late. I'm already started. To 2 degrees of it. Yeah, there's times where it's like, oh, all right, well, that's not really anything that I'm involved in. I want to kind of be there for you as like a maybe like as a friend or acquaintance sort of thing. Then there's times where it's like I won't even necessarily like go further into it, but like I don't know if you ever had like friends that are like in real bad situations, like actual friends, like one of those top 5 people are like in bad situations, and they come to you with what would be a negative cloud. And as a friend, it's like, do you take in some of that negative cloud? Do you take some time away before addressing the negative cloud? That's when it gets dicey.
yeah. So like anybody that's coming to me that know they're close to me with some real life drama, I'm there. As long as I'm not like about to go on stage, you know what I mean? Like I'll be there. Like it don't matter. I'll tell my kids to hold on. Tell my girl if I'm working, I do whatever. But like, nah, I'm cool. Like I understand because I'm the kind of friend where I don't talk to my friends every day. You know what I mean? So it's like I could go months without talking to my homies. So when they call me, I know it ain't just like I'm a dump on me. You know what I mean? Like they're like they've really got some stuff going on. You know,
Bro, I may have to like, we may have to talk. I may have to drop some clouds on you after. No, man, it's like sometimes I won't get too far into it. Not with me. Like things are going pretty dandy right now. It's pretty nice. Feeling good about it. Oh, yeah. But it's like sometimes if you have like a friend that's really going through something and it's like a continuous wave, what they're going through feels like a continuous wave of just that cloud, just omnipresent. And it's like, you know, that whether you're about to get on stage or right before and you have the time, it's like the time that you dedicate towards that is going to affect you in a negative way.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think there's times where it's like, you got to make sure to take some time back for yourself before fully dedicating to just that energy. And that could be hard. It can make you feel like you're not necessarily the best friend sort of thing. But it's an important thing to balance.
The best friend, the person you need to be the best friend of is yourself.
Oh
So they don't respect your boundaries. But like, listen, my baby mom can't call me before a show. Only people is my kids. Like, if my kids call me right before a show, I gotta answer that. But like, my mom know, my homies know. Don't call me. Yo,
I didn't know that. I didn't know I can call you before a show.
You wouldn't see. That's the thing. You don't ever call me with anything that's like dark and like you're not like give me all your problems. You know what I mean? Like you never have that energy. You know what I'm saying? Like
change, player. Be prepared, player.
Don't call me 30 minutes before shit.
No, it's not about to change. But yeah, it's a good policy. I never really I have that, but I never really like labeled it as a policy. I just don't pick up my phone if someone calls me right before. But also just like you give someone just like a heads. If you're gonna drop something heavy, it's usually like shoot them a text, like, "Hey, can I call you?" Just kind of calling out of nowhere. I guess it depends on who the person is.
So okay, so like if you give, I think that you should communicate like, yo, why I have this boundary because it affects me, and if you care about me, you should respect that. If you can't respect that, I'm not answering that. Like I'm not. I don't play that. Like I got homies that be in the trenches and like down in the dumps, and I have to tell them like, don't forget you are the creator of your circumstances. So before you come complaining, remember that because I'm gonna tell you that. Like if people have issues all the time, right? That's cool. But if you have like continuous issue, problem here, problem there, it's like, no, bro, I can't take this. You got to change something because I can't deal with this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man. I want to shift a little bit over to, and it's going to be a little bit comedy related. I like that we're on this comedy wave right now. We're going to get into some non-comedy topics in a little bit, but for the comedy heads out there, we got some very important to talk about.
You don't like comedy while you're watching this podcast.
Yeah, real shit. We just like black stuff. What the hell is this? So this is something I ran, like I mentioned on Saturday. Had a pretty big show, sort of thing. I'll explain some context for this. So Saturday had a show, skip back, which is in the town that I went to high school with. So that's factor number one sort of thing. So I may be seeing Mr. Moore, Miss Fortman. They may be in the crowd. Who knows going to show up? Mr. Walsh? I don't know. So there's that. It's also the Dip's birthday. The Dip's birthday. Everyone's bringing balloons, cupcakes, celebrations, all that stuff. Special day. The Dip brings all of her friends from her high school.
Nice.
All of her friends from high school. You try and make an impression on the Dip's friends and all that stuff. They're about to see you do your thing. There's that factor. 2 days before the show, your mom hits you up like, yo, I never come to shows, but guess what? I'm a slide. The mom and stepdad come through for the show. You're at the show. It's like, all right, I've been prepping up for this. You know what I mean? It's going to be, I'm feeling good about this sort of thing. It's just a 10-minute spot, whatever. It's like you do this nonstop. The host comes up to you, semi-frantic, like, hey, the headliner, they're not feeling too good. You're up right before the headliner. We need you to do extra time. Bang. So with that, man, it could be a little bit of a nerve-wracking in a good way, but nonetheless nerve-wracking type of show, type of performance. In your shoes, you've been doing it for a while as well, man. Do you ever have shows or performances that still make you nervous?
So I get nervous every single show. Like I really do. Small, big, whatever. But there are things that can be added on top of it that make me more nervous. And everything you just named would make me more nervous. Like the only thing, like I don't have no advice how to handle nervousness besides like do drugs and some drink. I don't know. But like
I thought you were gonna say exercise, but all right, noted. It's
like I don't know what to do. So the one thing that I do know that is once I get going, I'm good. So I try to remember that, like, yo, this first joke gonna kill, and I'm good. So I try to think about it. It's hard. It's really hard. But you had everything stacked on top of each other to like equal like anxiety.
Man. I think like you said though, it's like because I have that same thing too, where it's like, all right, once I'm in the rhythm, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And one of the main things that I put like a lot of like emphasis on is like make sure the first joke works. The first joke works and you hear like the wave, then you're on the wave. You're on the wave sort of thing. And that was one of the most important parts to me sort of thing. But just kind of like reading the room and all that stuff, making sure like a line works for that room, and it did. I was about to say luckily, but no, come on, I practice. It's like that would have been an inappropriate use of the word lucky on that one. Yeah, man, it worked out, and like it's a nice feeling when you have one of those performances or shows where it's like, you're a little on edge for sort of thing. Like, you may typically like do well and all that stuff, but it's like you want this one to be like a good representation of what you do when a particular set of eyes are on you on sort of thing. So it was a nice feeling, man. It was nice being able to rock out. People were with it. The host was cool and all that stuff. Shout out to Chris Stolen. And yeah, man, we did the thing. It was nice. And we sang happy birthday. It was good.
Good. Happy birthday to the Dip. I'm glad it worked out, man. What would you have done if that first joke didn't work? You ever have that first?
Bro, yeah, I've had that. We've all had that. But yeah, I've had that.
Start sweating.
I've had it where it's like first joke. I've had it where first joke works, and then like the beginning of a bit, like 5 minutes into it, it kind of trails off a little bit. So there's so many varieties with it.
Yeah.
Typically though, you could kind of like I can't fully put it into words, but a lot of times like when you're up there, at least for me, I could feel that it will be okay. Like in terms of like comfort level, like if you go up there, especially at the first joke, and you get in that comfort zone, it's like even if say you throw a bit out there that you didn't plan, or like something doesn't get the hit that it usually does, if you're comfortable, you know how to work with it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like you go up there, that first joke works, but you're still not completely comfortable. That's when it's a little bit uneasy. But when you go up there and it's like, oh yeah, I'm here. That's when it's good.
Good. Yeah. I had that. I had experience on Saturday where I wasn't comfortable. Like I had to do 45 minutes, and I know, like, so what I do often is like I try to like I have my set list all written down, like the title of each joke, the title of each joke. I have it written down so I know. But oftentimes I do this to myself. It's like I just want to get to like the really good stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, yo, I want to get to this new joke or this joke gonna be fire. So I oftentimes will like just mess up my own order, and it like, and so like I'll be like trying to get back. So on Saturday I was a point where I was trying to get back to my order, and I couldn't remember. And I got to a point like the last 10 minutes where I was just like, no segue, no segue. It was all my jokes, but it was like no segues, like not how I planned it, but it was just like, here's a joke, here's a joke, here's a joke. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I wasn't 100% comfortable, like you're speaking of. Like I was into that. Yeah,
and that's the thing. You probably like you rocked out too. Like that's on Saturday show. You probably rocked out, but it's interesting like when you rock out, but you're not your comfort zone. There's a different type. There's different levels like doing well, and even for doing bombing too, where it's like you could do well, like audience member, like whoa, that was one of the best performances I've seen in a long time. And then you in your head, you're like, I wasn't in that comfort zone. I wasn't on the wave. I was just hanging on barely. Same for bombing. Like you could be bombing up there and be comfortable, where it's like, oh, this for whatever circumstances, this is not working out, but I'm gonna keep going.
But I'm having a great time.
Yeah, I'm chilling. So you guys need to do something else. This is kind of wild. It seems unfortunate for you. I'm kind of chilling right now.
I don't know what you speak of, bombing? No, those are just accusations.
That's I won't give away your bits or anything like that. But again, man, when I saw the stuff you added to the mule bit on Sunday, oh my goodness, I'm still thinking about that. That's very good, man.
Thanks, man. I'm telling you, I am in full. I can't believe I'm in full album mode, bro. Like when I tell you, I need to do it. I will never not be writing for an album. Or a special, or I need, because I realized, like I said plenty of times, when I have a show coming up, like an important show, I find myself getting in it, writing more and tightening things.
Yeah.
When I don't have a show, I may chill for a day or two and not do nothing.
Right.
But if I got this album on the precipice, it's like it's making me every day like add something, do like whatever small. Like I need to have a marker that I'm trying to reach. Yeah.
It's something to preoccupy the mind. I think a lot of times people, when they hear preoccupation, they think it's a bad thing. When it's meeting certain goals, though, like in this case, an album, or maybe it's like a performance on a Saturday night sort of thing, a lot of times it could drive you to enhance any features for that goal. So yeah, man, I think it's a cool thing that you're like in that driver mode and like it's showing.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I met with a venue. What's today? Yesterday, I met with a venue, and they were interested in. I told them May June. I'm trying to shoot this. I'm trying to record it. I'm ready. Yeah, man.
Yeah, let me know when you get the date, by the way, because your boy may be going to the West Coast in June, and I'm trying to make it out for your thing. So let me know when you do lock in a date.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock in soon. But yeah, we put them together, man, and I really love doing the shows in the middle of nowhere with the reparations and all that. Like if them Jones can hit in the middle of nowhere, you know, I'm like, okay, yeah, we good.
Speaking of Hitman, so I read this news about.
Speaking of hit.
I try to leave the segues to you. Sometimes I try to dabble in segues.
I'm sorry, but it's so funny because I know what you're about to say.
Speaking of hits, we told the people that we were going to be talking about some non-comedy. Well, guess what, dickheads? We're about to talk about some non-comedy. Pat, if you could play the non-comedy music. Very serious. I'm really putting Pat to work on this one. Every other segment, put a song. So actor Jonathan Majors, he was in the news, is in the news. So Sunday it was announced that there were allegations that he actually was arrested Saturday night due to allegations that he had a physical assault incident with what was believed to be his girlfriend in the taxi cab of the streets of New York City. And this led to people talking about what sort of ramifications it may have for the Avengers movies that he's out, and he's in a lot of stuff. Creed 3, he's doing it right now. He's out there. So this was a lot of people were talking, and naturally the U.S. Army, which I didn't even know they do this, they had a commercial with him in it that they pulled like less than 24 hours after the allegations. I didn't know they did commercials, but yeah, they're still recruiting people like that way. And Jonathan Majors was in one of the commercials, and they removed it afterwards. It would later on, about less than 24 hours after that, the allegations were essentially dropped, as the person that originally made them redacted them, took them back. And I don't know what they said in terms of like it didn't happen or anything like that, but they did a little switcheroo. One, have you heard of this story? And two, what do you think of incidents where someone pulls a little switcheroo like this?
I've heard the story, of course. It's been everywhere. But I feel like the Army pulled his commercial very fast. But like people in the Army in like Texas are getting like raped and like murdered, and they can't slap nobody in the wrist with nothing. Like it was just crazy how this was like, boom.
Yeah, what? Wait, is there a bigger issue? What are you talking about?
You don't know about this? So like in Texas, it's like I think Fort Hood or one of them places. Like there's been like a crazy sexual assaults and rapes and like the female soldiers and stuff.
Oh, within like internally with the Army,
they've been coming up. They've been coming up dead and stuff like that.
Oh damn!
Nothing's happened. Nothing's happened.
It's
so I'm saying it's just crazy how like the Army seen this accusation of this woman, and then like that day they made a move and made it happen. And I was just like, dang, women are actually dying in your own arms, and nobody's doing nothing about nothing. So I just thought that was amazing how quickly they took his ad off before he even went to court, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's optics, man. It's the same. It's always like it's presenting what's at face versus like, let's do an investigation for those incidents that seemingly, from what it sounds like, is happening on a somewhat more than one time occasion, which I'm sure that could be the case.
It's just, I think that the recanting of the story. So look, this is, God, girl, you had me.
Is it recant or redact? I think it is recant. When I was saying, I was like,
recant.
Yeah, it is. I think I said redacted.
I don't know.
I redact that statement. It is.
Yeah, but you be having this tough conversation. So look, all right, here we go. If this woman, because I read the thing and it was like she had like bruises and had like lacerations behind her ear.
Ew.
Bro, if she bleeding, that don't look good. Like you can recant all you want. Like I don't know the story. I hope that ain't true. But the story said she was bleeding behind her ear. Now, unless she scratched herself on purpose, like it's very hard to.
Made me a little shiver right now. Ooh. Well, I got the heebie-jeebies.
So the whole the recant thing, that happens. People get. I'm not saying I don't know what happened, but people do get paid off. People have a change of heart. Like I don't know what happened, but it's a very, very bad look when the woman you're dealing with is bleeding and and it's not from the vagina. Like so that's like it's a very bad look.
You think Captain America paid her off? You're thinking someone from the Avengers family was like, he's one of us.
It sounds very American. I mean, I would say yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I don't want it to be true. I don't want it to be true, but I'm just sitting back. I just sit back and I look, and I was like, "Yo, was she bleeding?" Like we out here from a taxi cab driver because it was in a car when it happened. Like, and there was people out in the street when it happened. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, don't they usually have tapes on this stuff? Don't they usually have like footage?
They may have. I don't know yet. It may come out. But since this happened, some other things did come out about Jonathan Majors. Like, there's been people talking about like he's been a menace in Hollywood for a couple years. Like.
I saw one director note that I guess they tweeted something back in like February about an unnamed actor. And then when this came out, someone was like, hey, was this the actor you're referring to? And then they stated essentially, yes. So yeah, that doesn't help. That definitely doesn't help, sort of thing. It's kind of one of those wild things too. Of like if you're like that big, especially like you're past like the come up, you're like super big at this point. Like you're in like ABC Family, Disney movies, and then for something like this to happen, does that typically just happen on its own? Is that an isolated incident, or is it a matter of like these sort of things and behaviors have been always happening? It just kind of was kept tightly wrapped due to the person's status. There's no real answer.
They said that somebody trying to set him up because he's trying to buy a Tubi. That's what somebody said.
No, they did not.
That's somebody on Twitter said. They set him up. Trying to take the black man down.
It's what they do to people.
So good. But look, that's what I'm thinking about, right? When you just said that, it made me think. So you said, is it like a one-time occurrence? Do you know how? Not even so a woman, right? A woman can get me to the point where I'm gonna punch on her. It can't happen, right?
Oh damn! What?
It can't. No, a woman can't. I would never punch.
Oh, can't. I misheard. My bad. I was like, oh. It's like, yo, Bruce and Pat, you already know.
You know what to do.
Play the recant music. Play the recant.
Mark the timestamp. No, but I would never do it, right? So I'm trying to look at it like this. If I was in his shoes, right, and it was a man, say it was a man in the taxi with me, right? There is nothing where I'm at in life, where he is right now. He seems like someone that has everything he wants. So you would think that he's very happy. So it's like if I was where I want to be and I'm very happy and I'm riding in a cab with a bunch of money in my bank account, like you what you going to do to make me get up out myself and put hands on you? Like even as a man, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm where I'm at. I should be very happy with life, and that's nothing should get me to that point. I think when you asked me that, I thought about it. You say, "What if it's a one-time occurrence?" And it's just like this brother, like he looks like he's happy,
right?
So it's like, what is he happy, or is this more what he does?
Yeah, it would be more so in the behavior than a one-time occurrence sort of thing. Like that's how I feel about it. And I'm not necessarily even throwing things out. I don't know this person. I don't really follow his stuff like that to be speaking on him like that. But typically when that sort of situation, you would think it lays more in like behaviors and how that can be kind of a little more difficult to break versus like, oh, one-time incident and then something crazy happens. And also we talk about the idea of like should be happy, this and that, and then that's kind of goes back into the behavior thing of like you think of like the R. Kelly is out there. Allegedly the Michael Jackson sort of thing. I'm just kind of throwing names out there, but it's like, should this, like they have everything, but people still, due to particular behaviors, will do particular things.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. People with particular behaviors will do particular things.
This is a very particular episode.
That's how to sell. That's
it makes so much sense though. It makes so much sense though, because no matter where you are in life, you just have these particular things about you. You know what I mean? Like, and they may come out from time to time. Like,
man.
I don't know what the true story is, but I'm just looking at it from outside looking in, and you gotta stop dealing with these white women. This is what
is she white? Was the girlfriend white?
Of course she's white.
I didn't know. I didn't Google, but oh man, that's I gotta call my dip real quick. Be like, hey,
you think a black woman that ain't even married to him yet going rat him out? No. She'll get that ring first. No prenup. Now I'm gonna tell on you. She's not gonna get not on a date.
What happens if they're Hispanic?
Then they gonna get their cousins to beat you up before y'all get married, but they ain't telling on you. They gonna get their cousins. They ain't calling the cops though.
The social commentary here at Proper Ebonics.
Love it.
With that, man, something else we love to do for these people and for the streets. We always like to give recommendations. A lot of times people, they don't know what to do with their lives. They don't know what to do with it. They're like, man, I don't know if I should go left. I don't know if I should go right. Here at PE, we're here to give you some suggestions. With that, let's give some prop suggestions. I got a hot suggestion. So Richard Bachman, aka Stephen King, the Bachman books. As before, I noted that during the Tyler Rothrock episode that I finished Rage, which was a cool read. It was good. It's a lot of times it will bring people to the book because it's seen as this kind of like taboo, very hard to find book. But if you continue to read the book, there are a few more stories in there. And with my prop suggestion, I'm going to recommend Richard Bachman's The Long Walk. The Long Walk. It's one of the Bachman books, a short story, and essentially it's about in this future dystopian world, a group of 100 teenage boys. They're in this contest, a reality show essentially, to walk. They just have to walk, and they have to walk at least 4 miles per hour. And if they go under 4 miles per hour at any point, they get a warning. And after 3 warnings, something terrible may happen to one of the boys. They get shot. So that's pretty much they have to keep walking. They keep walking, and then it's ultimately going to be down to just one winner out of the 100. And when you hear this, you think like, oh, there's probably going to be something massive that happens that takes like a big bulk of the walkers out. There's no way Bachman's going to like cover each walker. He does. They each, like the whole story. There's a few where it's like 2 and 3 went down, but for the most part, the whole journey it's tied together from how each of these teenagers buy the ticket. And I gotta say, man, when you have such a basic concept like this and you're still able to get engagement and character development through, it's pretty special. And I'm glad that I was able to continue the read on this one because it was a good book. I highly recommend.
It definitely sounds unique. I've never heard of anything like this. You know, it kind of reminds me. What was that Netflix movie that was so hyped like a year ago?
Oh, Squid Games.
It's like Squid Game mixed with the movie Speed. That's what it's like.
Yeah, I could say that's interesting. Yeah, no, it's funny. Yeah, no, I did think of Squid Games a little bit with that one too. This one, it's a fun one in the sense that like they're not necessarily they're competing against each other, but they're also like there's bonds within each other, and because they're walking, you get to know about each character too, and because they're doing it at such a pace of like you get to it's not just like a bulk of like 50 of them just died. They're not when each person gets their ticket, aka their shot. It makes it even more harrowing sort of thing. So I think it's one of those kind of underrated books by him, and I want to spread it to the people.
Yeah, man, check it out, people. I think I might check it. It seems interesting. So I think it could be a good movie too.
I'm surprised I haven't made it to him. Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't made it to a movie yet. It's a whole thing they haven't done yet, but you check it out.
Check it out. So my proper suggestion is, yo, I don't normally watch stuff like this.
Well,
but y'all gotta check out Love Is Blind, yo.
Wow. Okay. What?
Yo, I was watching. I watched like a whole season. I was like, well, how do people watch this? I watched like a whole season. And bro, have you ever watched this?
No, I know of it, but I've not watched it.
So I've heard of it, but I know what it was. I thought it was like a show. It's like a reality dating show.
Yeah,
where people don't see each other. They just talk to each other, and they figure out they like each other. Then they propose. Then they all go away on a resort to see if they actually really like each other. Then they start trying to start switching partners, and it's crazy. But like the reason I think people should watch it is because it's ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. People are in the house for like 2 weeks or whatever, and they're like proposing to multiple people, and like they've never seen these people.
It's a wild move right there,
bro. Like, and these are like adult people, like 35, and like regular jobs. Like, yo, it's insane, bro. Like, I can't believe watching the show is ridiculous. People are they say, "Oh, I love you" behind the closed wall. One lady seen the one guy, and she was like, "It's not what I'm used to." It's like, dang, like what do you do? Like you engaged. You know what I mean? So it's like,
it's what do you think is the incentive to get like you say a lot of these people they're like 35 or whatever, they have like jobs and they just kind of like, yo, let me drop everything for a good 3 to 4 weeks to get engaged on a reality show. What do you think the incentive is?
So I was trying to think they gotta be paying them something per episode. They have to pay them. And the 15 minutes of fame. Like, I don't think they're really looking for if you're really looking for love this way, you have some kind of mental issue or something wrong with you. I think so. I don't think this is a healthy way because naturally, they're trying to take this part away from it, and I see what they're trying to do. But naturally, the first thing you're attracted to is physical, right? You can't take that away. You can't. You can't be like, whoa, I really love how smart they are, how they care about me. If somebody ugly to you, you can't take that away. And that's like, I felt like they're doing that, and it's just like causing chaos. Nobody's gonna like end up happily ever after. But it's good TV though.
That's I wonder what the Well, you say 15 minutes of fame. I don't know if I ever understood, and I don't. Maybe I'm like being self-righteous or whatever. That kick me in the shin if that's the case. But the whole 15 minutes of fame thing, it never seems worth it for any given person. Like, what do you get out of the 15 minutes of fame beyond just long-term, seemingly just dread? Like, you're on this show, you're getting noticed on Netflix, you maybe do club appearances afterwards, you pop some bottles, but it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't really feel fulfilling in any way. Like, to me, if the idea of that, like getting on a reality show and being known for that, or just that's like your first impression on mass volumes of people. So like millions of people, that's your first impression. To me, that's, I don't want to knock them, but it seems sad. If in my case, if I was on something like that, that would be sad. I would be bummed out unless it was like a cool reality show. That's
right. Like a money prize there's something that'd be cool, but like I think they just trying to find love in front of America.
How about this for a love show? It's a bunch of 70 to 80-year-old individuals. You ship them out to, let's say, like a Sandals in Jamaica, and it's the same concept where like you have to match up with different people based off of different misalignments they may have in their body. So they're off into the Sandals, and they're out to get love. And we call the show The Last Resort.
It's a good name. I'm pretty sure it's already taken.
What?
Ain't it? I'm pretty sure it's already taken.
Someone has a last resort. I feel like that's a hot idea.
Or is that just a Papa Roach song?
That is a Papa Roach song. That's going to be the theme song for this. Throwing in all
this is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing, because you're old. You can't breathe.
Yeah, that song's hella violent. I was listening to it the other day. I was like, oh my God. You were playing this in Tony Hawk?
Yo, that was so much cooler. Yo, times are way better back in those days, man. Tony Hawk, man, Papa Roach,
Son.
Capri.
POD.
Yo. Oh, man.
System of a Down. People don't know. People think we just listen to hip hop. Not the case. We get down. We know Limp Bizkit.
Oh, my dad put me down to like the rock and roll and stuff. He used to like ride through the hood with his windows down, blasting like Metallica. And like me and my brother be like embarrassed, like, oh my God, what's going on? But now I fucking love Enter the Sandman. You know what I mean? It's just like that's my jam. I know every word.
That's
yeah,
man.
I was going to say when you gotta be careful when you're singing these songs when you in professional settings, though. I tell you that much.
For singing these songs professional settings, how come?
Like that news anchor that got fired for singing Snoop Dogg lyrics.
Yeah, that's funny. I knew it was a segue, but I was like, what topic? And then yeah, that's right. That makes I was like, this is definitely a segue. Yeah, this is for a topic that I suggested. Yeah, yeah, man, you do gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, man. So there's a news anchor in Mississippi who she has reportedly been fired from her news anchoring job from a place that she's been for about 20 years. After quoting Snoop Dogg, she said, "For shizzle my nizzle." I don't know if she said my nizzle, but she threw nizzle in there, and the streets weren't happening. They weren't feeling it. Oh yeah, I should rephrase it. The streets don't care. The streets do not care that this woman said "for shizzle my nizzle." It's whatever is like the leader of the whatever news company they're at. They took offense to it. Maybe behind the scenes she's been saying nizzle a lot, sort of thing, and this is like the final strizza sort of thing. But yeah,
good morning, nizzle.
So it's like, you can't do that on air, Debbie. You can't. And she did it on air. Do you feel like people actually care about this? Like, do you think like the streets, do you think culture, you think black people actually care this woman said for shizzle my nizzle?
I don't really care. She shouldn't. I look, for shizzle my nizzle is short for sure, nigga. Like for sure, my nigga. That's what it's short for. So it's like, you shouldn't say it, right? You shouldn't. I don't care. I don't care, bro. Like, the person who fired her is probably another white woman who felt entitled.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, that's because I feel like it's such a like I don't want to. I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase it. It's become a thing. It's like getting jiggy. It's almost like that. It's on par with that of like, oh yeah, this is hip hop slang that is outdated, that people that aren't necessarily in the know say without necessarily know its original meaning, sort of thing. So it feels very far removed from what we previously knew it as. So not to say she shouldn't face ramifications, but it's just like I can't say I'm offended when I hear that.
So look, like she shouldn't say it. She shouldn't say it, right? But I'm not like I don't want. Okay, I'll try to paint a picture for you, Kirk. If a white guy came up to you was like, "Yo, what's up, my nizzle?" How would you feel about that?
Well, hello, Derek. No, it's no,
Hello, officer.
yeah, it's um, yeah, I guess I wouldn't feel great. I guess it also depends on the person. Like if it was a comic and like I knew them, I don't know. I wouldn't feel.
It's a little different. It's a little different when you think about it. Someone says it to you, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a
little
little like
different.
it's yeah, I wouldn't feel too crazy about it. I'm trying to think if I like say like if I was like at work and I heard like a coworker say it, I feel like even then I'd be like, not crazy about that.
No, it was so I had a coworker. He used to say he would be like damn, what was that Biggie line? I can't remember the Biggie line where he was
It's
like, oh, he would say if you don't know, now you know.
would he say it?
No, but that's what he would say.
Oh, okay.
So, but like I knew, I was like, you know what the next line is, bro. Like, why you always stop saying that? Like, you're not saying it, but you're saying it. If you don't know, now you know, Alan. Like, stop doing that. You know what I mean? So it's like this gives me those vibes. It's like, don't say that. Like, I don't think she should have been fired. She shouldn't have been fired. Right?
Right.
People keep their job for way worse things, but it's like she shouldn't say that.
Yeah, no, it's funny when you put it in that context. Yeah, that's because it's very much like, all right, well, you know something's up with this, right? You're just kind of like finding like a loophole around saying it, and that could be kind of a little. I can't help but feel like there's probably some behind the scenes stuff too, where either she had like a history behind the scenes of where just like just wasn't the most appropriate. This feels like one of those things where it was like someone was already on like some sort of fine line, and then they use this like in terms of like if you have a perfect record and you drop nizzle, I don't think that's getting you fired from your anchoring job in Mississippi.
Right.
But if you're dropping nizzles left and right prior to that, it could lead to something like this.
If you're like crip walking through the studio, knocking over lights, like no gangbanging in here, deputy. What are we telling you? So then you drop a nizzle on air and you lose your job. I mean, I think that Snoop Dogg should get her job back.
Snoop Dogg needs to hire her as like one of his blunt rollers. I think that would be the best way to go about it.
Yeah, just roll that blunt. Just don't say nizzle. Yeah. Yeah, man. But yeah, she should have said it.
But she needs to maybe come up with some different goals. Maybe the anchoring company and the news production, they need to set some different policies and goals for their employees. On our end, though, we take care of our own goals. That's something that we do, and we like to acknowledge those goals. With that, let's get on some goals. This is a goal on top of a goal, which I think it may be a goal on top of another goal as well. So the streets may know it's been a years long goal of getting a corn snake. Your boy got the corn snake. Your boy did that. Yeah, shout out to Alyosha. So less than about 10 feet away from me, there's a corn snake in a 25-gallon tank, a 7-month-old corn snake. This corn snake is still really shy and all that stuff. And I had my first handling with it yesterday. I showed you photos on Sunday. Had my first handling. It was nice. It was all up in my hand and all that stuff, man. It was cool. The goal is that Alyosha is still a little shy and still kind of hanging out in his hide, and hasn't properly ate his first meal yet. So the goal is this Thursday is to feed Alyosha its first pinky, which is a mouse.
So what happens? Like, how long can it go without eating?
It could, well, that's the thing too. So two things to that. It could go a few weeks, but it's a juvenile, so you want to feed it every week. And usually when it doesn't eat, it's because it's either getting used to a place, a new environment, or it's just not comfortable. And around springtime, this is the case for corn snakes, it's mating season. So they don't have food on their mind at all. And they could go weeks without eating. I don't know so much if this is the case with juveniles or if it could be strong with juveniles. So if it ends up not eating for like weeks, I'm gonna like call the place like by week 2, be like, hey, what advice do you give? But yeah, you want it to eat every week though.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, if it doesn't like what we do with like with my kids, where your kids they didn't want to eat, you mash it up. So try putting the mouse in the blender, and then that's try.
bro so the, there's so many different things of like, hey, why don't you cut the mouse's head so it bleeds a little bit? I'm like, oh god. uh, I made the mistake last Thursday of like, all right, I'm gonna like thaw the mouse and put it in warm water because it's supposed to get its body temperature. I was like, I'm gonna do that at the same time while I'm prepping my chicken. So like, I'm gonna have it thawing over there while I'm putting my chicken thighs in the oven, and then I'm gonna feed Alyosha while the chicken's in the oven, and then eat my dinner afterwards. Subconsciously, maybe I thought we'd bond, but like, I put the mouse in there, and it didn't eat it. And then as I'm eating my chicken, I got grossed out. I was like, this is disgusting. I don't know if I could do meat anymore after this. And I just wasn't able to eat like more than 2 pieces of the chicken thigh. And I made it well. It was a good recipe, but I'm learning now that I can't really mix the 2 worlds that way.
I thought you was going to say you accidentally ate the mouse.
Oh my god. No, man, that's that out of all this whole snake business, and there's been a lot of it. The whole mouse part has been probably the most unfavorable part. The whole like feeding it a rodent, I'm not crazy about that. I'm gonna get used to it, I suppose. But that part tripped me up. Just the idea of like, oh, it's maybe this is what a mouse tastes like.
Like I said, when my kids didn't eat, you gotta like show them how to eat. You know what I mean? So you gotta like show them you gotta eat the mouse. Like,
I gotta get a fork and a knife and put some mouse in Korean barbecue. Yeah, the thing with these that they're supposed to like. I know you're joking too, but like you're supposed to like kind of keep them whole so it looks as real as possible. Like you're supposed to dangle it in front of them when it's like warm and after not heating it up in the microwave, putting in warm water. That way, it's supposed to be as alive as possible. So I don't know how it would respond to me like mashing it up. But that's something I won't do. That's where the line is drawn.
Oh my god, that's so crazy. I couldn't do it. The mice part, you got me there, bro. They don't got like no snake feed. You can just like,
bro. Like, there's gonna be times where I may be out of town and I need like a snake sitter. You're telling me you're not gonna come over here and like feed my pet snake?
Oh, you already said that you got to feed it once a week, so you never go for that long.
I'm going for more than a week sometimes. I dip out.
Nobody does that.
What? I may be going out to the West Coast in June, man. It's I may be out there for like a good amount of days, and on its feeding day, I may need someone to come in and feed Alyosha.
It better hit that dip up.
Oh goodness, yeah.
Unless they going too.
They are, but it's like I like the idea of just like, hey, I really need a favor. Also, if we're ever in a car in New York City on a Saturday night, please do not. So I'll try to get two birds in one stone in that situation.
Good stuff. All right, so I'll tell you my goal. My goal, real quick. I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you this goal, but I don't care. It's March 28th. My goal is to take my Christmas tree down.
Why is this the goal? Why is this the goal?
Because it needs to happen, bro. Like, I took the lights and everything off. It's just literally just a naked tree in my house right now. Like, it's been like that for a minute.
At this point, do you commit and just keep it year round?
I thought, like, should I decorate it for Easter? Like, do I? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's the thing. They do like Halloween trees and like Easter trees and all that stuff. Birthday trees. You could just deck it out for whatever like holiday or occasion it is.
It's a fake tree, so it only like water it. Don't go bad. Like, I could just keep it up.
I say you keep it. I know we want you to meet your goals and all that stuff, but at this point, I say just keep it.
Oh, bad influence.
Well, I hope this
valuable space in my living room.
It's obviously not that valuable if you have it up for like since March. That's wild, man.
I never had my tree up longer than my birthday. I never had my tree up into March. I don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah, you got different things on your mind, preoccupied with different things. You can't worry about a damn tree.
Facts, bro. You're right. Keep it up.
Yeah. Speaking of preoccupation, man, I'm gonna dip soon. I have to go to the mattress factory. The mattress I got I'm not crazy about it. And I have 3 days to return it if I'm
Oh,
choosing to return it. So I'm gonna go there and test out their other mattresses to see if I get one that's slightly firmer. It's a whole thing. But that's pretty much what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my night, along with maybe take Alyosha out one more time.
yeah, take out to the mattress factory with you.
That would be reckless. That would be dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to go eat some grocery store fried chicken because it be popping.
Nice, man. As always, thanks for listening to Proper Bonics. You can catch us out in these streets. Go on our pages if you want to know what shows we're doing and all that stuff. We're around. And yeah, man, I'll see you when I see you.
Peace.